Good evening, everyone out there in internet land. My name is Kip, and this is Car Chat with Kip on America Bumper to Bumper. On this show, this live stream, we go and figure out car news. We do recalls, good car stories. Also do a update on channel stuff. Excuse me for those that want to know what's going on the channel. And so we're going to jump right in. And gosh darn it, there was something I wanted to talk about or start off, and I can't remember what it is now. Bummer. All right. Well, let's go over here and do some like this. We'll do that. All right. All right. Starting out, we're going to give updates on Facebook and YouTube, and we're up on the Facebook channel as it is right now, and that's my personal thing. So let's go over to the America Bumper to Bumper channel or page. So what we're going to be doing here for a little bit of a change was something that Straight Six fan Grant Tommy had suggested in our Wednesday buy it or boot it. We're going to start, I'm not sure what day I'm going to do this, but we're going to start doing a weekly posting over here. It's going to be a singular buy it or boot it. Stupid Fast Truck, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you being here. So we're going to find a car, and it's going to be 50 days, 50 states. So once I start this, every day I'll post up a new car for a new state. We're going to go in alphabetical order, and it'll be up there for, actually, I'll probably do a couple to get caught up, and we'll do one a week. So it'll be, and then you guys can go on there and you guys can post there whether you think that this particular ad is worthy of buying or not. So buy it or boot it. It's going to be posting. I'm not sure whether I'll do it daily or weekly. Still figure that out. But we're going to do that. We'll post it up there. You guys will have a chance to go in there and say, yeah, that's cool, and I'll buy it, or nah, I'll boot it. What else is going on? Facebook, not a whole lot else new is happening there. Over on the tube, and of course, I didn't get anything all set up, so another thing that if you guys know of anyone that is looking for might have a Mustang and is looking for a 5-lug conversion and disc brakes for their Mustang, I have the potential. I have a Lincoln Continental, a Fox body Continental, that factory 4-wheel discs and 5-lug, and I'm looking to sell that so we can move on to something different for the channel. So if anybody knows of anybody looking for that, or anybody just wants to do some more work on a really nice, comfortable 4-door, we can work something out. Anyways, over here on YouTube, we're up to 432 subscribers, so we've gained a couple over the past few days, which is awesome. And we are going to have a video that I'm going to be doing up soon that'll be kind of explaining why I'm getting rid of my Lincoln and moving on to something else. Still probably won't go fully into what I'm going to be getting because at this point I still don't know. But we'll have a video there. I still need to clean out my 2020 Equinox that wife and I bought for our family car and do a review of that. And keeping on that, the issue that we had, I talked about a couple weeks ago. We're still waiting for them to get back to us with the part that we need to fix our problem. Luckily, the check engine light has not come back on over the past few weeks, so that's a really good thing. I think one of the biggest pieces of news for the channel is I've set up a Teespring store. The link will be in the description for everybody to go into later on. I'll also copy that right now and put it in the comments for anybody else to be able to see. It is currently my original logo design. We've got iPhone cases, we've got Samsung cases, t-shirts, long sleeves, a couple different tank tops, and a bunch of other stuff. So coming a few different colors, white, gray, and black is what I have set up now. And I am working on more designs to throw up here too, so keep an eye on that as well. So I'm very excited about having the Teespring store. And I don't know, Julian, if you are watching this or are going to watch this later on, I will be getting a t-shirt out to you really soon. All right, our first story for the night is about these two consecutively VINed 55 Corvettes that are coming up for sale. Back in the early C1 generation of the Corvette, first 3 years were pretty much the same. 53 and 4 were actually no difference. 53 saw such low sales, they actually had a bunch of bodies. This is what I understand. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The 54s were just leftover bodies from 53. So they're technically 54s, but they're really. And then the 55s, they just kept the body style going before 56 when they changed up the look completely. But these two are consecutive bins. 55, only 700 total Corvettes were produced, and you are looking at $699 and $700. The story goes with these. I'm going to go down here and here. 55 model year was a final year of the original C1 Corvette body style, canted headlights, and pronounced rear fins. And these two identical consecutive VIN Corvettes are currently being sold together through Corvette Mike. Corvette Mike, I'm assuming, is a Corvette aficionado. They are, like I said, they said identical color, roof, engine. Backstory on the two cars. One owner purchased $699, the original owner $699 out of the 700. And then later that year, his brother-in-law purchased 700 from the same dealership in LA. Now, 700, the brother-in-law went off and joined the Navy in 59, and the owner of 699 bought 700 And these cars have been in the same family possession for 61 years until 2016, when they were sold to the current owner. And now they're up for sale. They, as I said, identical with the Harvest Gold with green top and yellow interior. They're both very well documented histories. They do need some love. There's wear and deterioration on the cars, but the interiors have been redone. Paint's not that great, but they still have the 195 horse V8 and the optional 3-speed manuals. So if you are interested in consecutives, they're being sold separately, but you know, a kind of a piece of history of the 699 and 700th 1955 Corvettes. You know, my opinion is kind of along with the lines of this the gentleman who wrote this story, that they really should stay together. So Corvette Mike is the guy to contact to get more info on these consecutive Corvettes. And going on to another fairly somewhat rare car you can buy is this 300ZX that you see here. This is the Z32 generation of the Z cars. This is a 1990 model year, and this is the best that you could get. It was, I think it might off a year backwards, some 54, where retail is 55.
You don't know what the brown note is? It's no efficiency and volume.
Okay. Yeah, very well could have had that info mixed up. I know that they didn't make, I think there's only 300 or so of the 53s that went off the line. But yep, anyway, thanks for the information. Anyways, this 300ZX, as I said, is the top of the line, the best that you could get. 1990 was the first year. First year of the Z32 body style, and this particular one is the twin turbo, 3-liter VG30 V6 with 300 horsepower, 5-speed stick, 4-wheel steering. All that works. It has also got T-tops. And the biggest thing with this one is it's got just over 2,000 miles. And if it's something that interests you, this is going to be at RM Sotheby's Amelia Island auction later next month, so in March. But it is a heck of a car. We'll go through some of the pictures. And you expect with a car of 2,000 miles, that would look good. Now, I don't know if anybody who's stupid fast, I don't know if you know this or whether people watching this in replay, those headlights are shared with another vehicle. Do you know what it is? I'll give you guys a minute to make your guesses and put them in the comments, and then I will let you guys know as we go through this.
Yeah.
Stick shift, very nice. 5-speed. Gotta love the T-tops. That was one thing that I do miss from the 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s is T-tops. Had an 86 Camaro base model with T-tops. Loved pulling those things out and letting the sun in. All right, so the car that shares the headlights, go back to here. The car that shares the headlights with the 300ZX, Lamborghini Diablo. Yep. So the later Diablos, these are the same exact headlights in the later Diablos. I know that the earlier ones had the pop-up headlights, and then the later ones before they were discontinued in the Murcielago came about had the same headlights. So, bit of trivia for today. All right, our next story, once it decides it wants to pop up.
That's just the sound in the back of my head.
All right, our next story is 10 cars that you want to wait a year before you buy due to depreciation. And we're going to go over the 10 cars that you should wait a year to buy because of the depreciation. And number 10 on the list, BMW 4 Series Coupe. They lose roughly $19,000 of value in their first year. Mercedes-Benz CLA, they lose roughly 37% of their value in the first year, or about $16,000. Can almost say that with any BMW. I haven't gone through this list, so I don't know exactly what's here, but I am expecting lots of BMWs. Range Rover, that the Evoque is the one that also does not surprise me that's on this list. Loses 37.3% of its value in its first year, or $21,000. Another BMW, X6, 37.7% of its value, or $31,000. Ouch. Ooh, that's an unfortunate one to see on the list. But then again, Camaros haven't been doing the greatest over the past few years. The Camaro convertible loses nearly 40%.
Yes, because Marvin doesn't have gold.
Okay, from a more interestingly, it's 37.8% loss is way higher than the 18.6% loss for the coupe. Wow, nearly 40% drop in value for the convertibles, or roughly $17,000. Another BMW, which again, not terribly surprising. This loses 38.2% of its value, or roughly $19,000. Number 4, Volvo. Again, not terribly surprised with this one either. Loses 40% of its value in its first year, or $23,000. Jaguar XE. It's really not surprising that any of these European cars are on here. It loses 40.9% of its value, or just over $20,000. Huh. Wow. 550 Xi, 75K MSRP, 32 grand. That's definitely something you want to hold on and buy later on, definitely. All right, number 2 is the Audi A6, which loses 41%, or $26,000. And the first number 1 worst loser is the BMW 7 Series. It loses 43.4% of its value in the first year, or nearly $50,000. Ouch. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, it definitely pays. If you want a car like that, hold off for a bit. All right, our next story is the Supra. And it has just been announced that we now can get a cheaper, slightly stripped down version of the Supra that will have a 4-cylinder in it. BMW sourced, of course, since it's the BMW car, 4-cylinder. And this is Toyota just confirmed it just ahead of the NASCAR, the Daytona 500, which is this weekend. And let's see. So the 2021 Supra 2.0 is the entry model. Be slotted above the Toyota 86 and below the Supra 3.0 inline 6. Also, this is all about there's a slight bump in the 3-liter turbocharged horsepower, 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. So you definitely know that the 4-cylinder is going to be slower and lower than that, and it looks like the 4-cylinder is going to be making just under 200 horsepower and 236 torque. Well, sorry, Europe and Asia already has a 4-cylinder Supra, 2 different versions. There's a 194 horse, and then there's a 225 horse with a 295 pound-feet. And it looks like we're going to get the 4-banger with even more horsepower at 255, which is definitely going to be nice with 295 pound-feet. So definitely a bump, but there's also going to be less content in the Supra, so it's going to be lighter. It is only going to be an automatic, just like the 6-cylinder, which is unfortunate. But I don't know if they've said what we're looking at for price on this, but okay. Well, you can expect anywhere, above 30 grand and below 50 grand. So probably around 40. And I think that is excessive. 40 grand for a Supra, 4-cylinder Supra. I don't see this being any more successful than the 6-cylinder, but hopefully Toyota proves us all wrong. All right. Next story, we're on into our recalls. We've got recalls, and then we're pretty much done. Oh, we got one more story before we get into recalls. Audi R8. There were speculations. Hey, Brian, thanks for being here. Appreciate it, buddy. Audi R8, there was speculation that when this generation you see in front of us here was done, that this was going to be the end of the R8, and they were going to redesign and recall it something like the e-tron, like from the Avengers movie, something like that, and it was going to be an all-electric car. But it looks like, according to reports from Top Gear magazine, that the R8 is going to live for another generation, but it's not going to be all electric. It will be a hybrid. So that will be interesting to see how this all works out later on. And I don't know if you guys are fans of the R8. I think it's
yo, bro, I'm a huge fan of the R8, bro.
It's my son. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Okay. Yeah. For me, being that it's built on the same chassis as the Gallardo, the Huracan, I would prefer the Huracan just because it's it's a Lamborghini over an Audi, but for a lot less money, you can get pretty much the same car in the R8 form. So, and it's again not terribly surprising that they're going to hybrid, because it seems like everybody's going to hybrid. All right, now we're on to our recalls. The Tesla X. Apparently, it doesn't like salt. Then again, I don't know that there's a lot of cars that do like salt. Basically, what's going on is the Model X is being recalled because the of excessive corrosion on the power steering motor bolt, and especially on Model X's that are in colder climates. And this recall affects any cars built before October of 2016. Hey, Benny, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Hey, I knew there'd be somebody out there that knew that the headlights were also on the Diablo. And I knew, I had a feeling that if you were here, it was going to be you. Yeah, so Tesla is not, hasn't given out numbers of the Model X that are affected, but seeing that there weren't a whole lot of cars built before October 2016, they don't think it's going to be a big number. But Model X's are being recalled. All right. Next up, Ford is recalling a bunch of cars. Ford has issued a recall. It covers 211,000 cars. The 13 through 18 Taurus SHO, Flex, and Lincoln MKT. They may experience a rear suspension fracture in the toe link. Also, the police interceptor Tauruses from the same years are recalled as well. And basically, weak link in the toe link, there's weak part there, and after so much jouncing and rebounds of the suspension, it fractures and can cause a higher risk of crash. So if you own one of these, or you know somebody that does, then you might be getting a recall notice in the mail very soon.
Does it look like we really did it then?
Our next recall is a Honda, like one of those first gen SHOs. If I were going to take the SHO, I would want the refreshed front end of the like 92s or 95s. That is the SHO that I think looks the best, and they were still pretty much same engine trans and everything of the very early SHOs, but those cars were killers. I love those things. Anyways, back to Honda and its recalling of 241,000 Odyssey vans, 2018 through 2020. And its problem is a fire hazard. The third row seat, there's a wire back there that could short circuit and cause a fire. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're making messages or comments or not. Just the fact that you're in the chat is good enough for me. So the problem is due to an improperly installed interior trim piece that could damage or cause damage to the wire leading to a third row power outlet. The wiring could then short circuit and then lead to a fire. So if you own a 2018 through 2020 Odyssey, you may be getting a recall notice for that. And finally, another fire recall hazard from Hyundai, 430,000 Elantras. Elantra sedans and wagons, or the possibility there could be an electrical short in the ABS module. It could cause an engine fire. Engine can ignite both when the car is on or off. Wow. Due to the ABS module remaining energized, but only a few engine compartment fires have been reported. That's kind of a good thing. But 430,000 from 2006 through 11 Elantra sedans and 2007 through 11 Elantra touring wagons are the culprits or the offending vehicles. So, and I know that there's quite a few of those still out there on the roads. And if you know of anybody that's got one, be on the lookout for the recalls on that.
want to see a horse because it works.
And that, my friends and neighbors, is what I've got for you for news tonight. I don't know if there's anything that you guys have seen in the car news lately that you guys want to talk about, but I'm open up to whatever you guys want to do in the chat. Otherwise, we can call it a night. So I'm gonna have a drink of some Coke here, and you guys let me know if you've heard of anything good in the news. And I'll see if I can find it. That's another thing. It seemed to be a slow car news week. See, another piece of news for next week for anybody that's gonna be here. Gonna have a co-host with me. We're gonna make it a kind of a regular deal. My daughter Lainey, who's put up a few videos here on the channel, she's going to now become a semi-regular co-host. She'll be the third Friday of every month. She will be joining me to give out news and stuff that she finds. So be on the lookout for that. And really, if anyone else would like to, join me on these exploits, I've got 3 more weeks. I'd love to. 3 more weeks that I'd love to have another person come in and give out some news too. But all right, well, I've yapped on, I think, long enough. We're going to end this like I do all of my live streams and every other video. Dreams without ambition is like a car without gas. You're not going to get very far. Oh, wait, we've got, what do we got, Benny? What? You think the all-electric mandate in England coming up? I think U.S. I think that depending on who wins the 2020 elections will depend on how quickly we have an all-electric vehicle mandate. I think that if we stay with our current administration, that we've got a 4-year, at least 4 more years before we have to worry about going all electric. If the Democrats, any of the Democratic front runners get in there, I think that will be a much quicker process. But anyways, seeing little on the recalls. Yeah, they're really, when I was going through everything, trying to find news, there really wasn't a ton of stuff, even on the recall side. Anyways, we're gonna finish it up now. Thanks, Benny, for that comment there. And we're going to do it again. Dreams without ambition is like a car without gas. We're not going to get very far. Have a great night. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.